Data pretty printer. Source code lib/pprint.py. The pprint module provides a capability to pretty print arbitrary Python data structures in a form which can be used as input to the interpreter. If the formatted structures include objects which are not fundamental Python types, the representation may not be loadable. This may be the case if objects such as files, sockets, or classes are included, as well as many other objects which are not representable as Python literals. The formatted representation keeps objects on a single line if it can, and breaks them onto multiple lines if they don't fit within the allowed width. Construct pretty printer objects explicitly if you need to adjust the width constraints. Dictionaries are sorted by key before the display is computed. The preprint module defines one class. Class printer preprint.prettyprinter. Indent is equal to 1, width is equal to 80, depth is equal to none, stream is equal to none, asterisk, compact is equal to false, sort dict is equal to true, underscore numbers is equal to false. Construct a pretty printer instance. This constructor understands several keyword parameters. Stream defaults std.sys.stdout is a file-like object to which the output will be returned by calling its write method. If both stream and sys.stdout are none, then pprint silently returns. Other values configure the manner in which nesting of complex data structures is displayed. Indent default 1 specifies the amount of indentation added for each nesting level. Depth controls the number of nesting levels which may be printed. If the data structure being printed is too deep, the next content level is replaced by ... By a default. There is no constraint on the depth of the objects being formatted. Width default 80 specifies the desired maximum number of characters per line in the output. If a structure cannot be formatted within the width constraint, a best effort will be made. Compact impacts the way that long sequences, lists, tuples, sets, etc. are formatted. If a compact is false, the default, then each item of a sequence will be formatted on a separate line. If compact is true, as many items as will fit within the width will be formatted on each output line. If sort dict is true, the default dictionaries will be formatted with their keys sorted, otherwise they will display in insertion order. If underscore numbers is true, integers will be formatted with the underscore character for 1,000 separator, otherwise underscore are not displayed, the default. Import pprint stuff is equal to this list stuff.insert 0 stuff this pprint pretty printer indent is equal to 4 pp.pprint stuff. So here if I pass
देखो खरीद कर लाया
pp is equal to pprint.prettyprinter width is equal to 41, compact is equal to true. Let's set compact is equal to true. So pretty printer, this This is compact printer. And tuple is equal to sperm, eggs, lumberjack, knights, knee, dead, parrot, trash. Now if we want to print a tuple, depth is equal to 6. pprint.p format object indent is equal to 1, width is equal to 80, depth is equal to none, asterisk, compact is equal to false, sorted disk is equal to true, underscore numbers is equal to false. Return the formatted representation of object as a string. Indent, width, depth, compact, sort disk and underscore numbers are passed to the pretty printer constructor as formatting parameters, and their meanings are as described in its documentation above. pprint.pp object asterisk rs comma sorted disk sort disk is equal to false, pointer kwrs. Print the formatted representation of object followed by a new line. If sorted disk is false, the default dictionaries will be displayed with their keys in insertion order. Otherwise, the disk keys will be sorted. Rs and kwrs will be passed to pprint as formatting parameters. pprint.pprint object stream is equal to none, indent is equal to 1, width is equal to 80, depth is equal to none, asterisk, compact is equal to false, sort disk is equal to true, underscore numbers is equal to false. Prints the formatted representation of object on stream followed by a new line. If stream is none, assist.stdout is used. This may be used in interactive interpreter instead of print function for inspecting values. You can even reassign print is equal to pprint.preprint for use within a SCOM. The configuration parameters stream, indent, width, depth, compact, sort disk and underscore numbers are passed to the pretty printer constructor, and their meanings are as described in its documentation above. Import pprint. Stuff is equal to this. Stuff.insert 0 stuff pprint.stuff. Recursion in list with this. Insert 0 stuff. Okay. pprint.isReadable object. Determine if the formatted representation of object is readable or can be used to reconstruct the value using eval. This always returns false for recursive object. pprint dot is readable. It will be false. pprint dot is recursive object. Determine if object requires a recursive representation. This function is subject to the same limitations as noted in safe rep r below and may raise on recursion error if it fails to detect a recursive object. It is recursive true. One more support function is also defined. pprint.safe_wrapr object. Return a string representation of object protected against recursion in some common data structure, namely instances of dict, list, and tuple, or subclasses whose wrapr has not been overridden. If the representation of object exposes a recursive entry, the recursive reference will be represented as recursion on type name with id is equal to number. The representation is not otherwise formatted. Pretty printer objects. Pretty printer instances have the following methods. Prettyprinter.p format object. Return the formatted representation of object. This takes into account the options passed to the prettyprinter constructor. Prettyprinter.pprint object. Print the formatted representation of object on the configured stream followed by a new line. The following methods provide the implementations for the corresponding functions of the same names. Using these methods on an instance is slightly more efficient since new prettyprinter object don't need to be created. Prettyprinter.isReadable object. Determine if the formatted representation of the object is readable or can be used to reconstruct the value using eval. Note that this returns false for otherwise recursive object. If the depth parameter of prettyprinter is set and the object is deeper than allowed, this returns false. Prettyprinter.isRecursive object. Determine if the object requires a recursive representation. This method is provided as a hook to allow subclasses to modify the way objects are converted into strings. The default implementation uses the internals of the safe-wrap implementation. Prettyprinter.format object context max levels level. Return three values. The formatted version of object as a string, a flag indicating whether the result is readable, and a flag indicating whether recursion was detected. The first argument is the object to be presented. The second is a dictionary which contains the ID of objects that are part of the current presentation context. Direct and indirect containers for objects that are affecting the presentation as the keys. If an object needs to be presented which is already represented in context, the third return value should be true. Recursive calls to the format method should add additional entries for containers to this dictionary. The third argument, max levels, gives the requested limit to recursion. This will be 0 if there is no requested limit. This argument should be passed unmodified to recursive calls. The fourth argument, level, gives the current level. Recursive calls should be passed a value less than that of the current call. Example. To demonstrate several uses of pprint function and its parameters, let's fetch information about a Py project from PyPy. Import JSON, import pprint from URL lib.request, import URL open with URL open as resp project info json.log. Example 3. In its basic form, pprint shows the whole object. pprint.pprint project info. Author, email, backtrack to file, classifiers, description, content type, docs URL, download URL, downloads, homepage, keyword, license, everything. The result can be limited to a certain depth. Ellipsis is used for deeper contents. pprint.pprint depth is equal to 1. Depth is equal to 1. Additionally, maximum characters width can be suggested. If a long object cannot be split, the specified width will be exceeded. For example, width is equal to 60. Width is equal to 60. Run.